Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Please join us to chant the Atma Shatkam. Naham na cha shrotra jihve na cha prana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Nacha Prana Sankhyo Na Pai Panchavayu Nava Sapta Dhatu Nava Panchakosha Nava Pani Pado Nachopasta Payu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivo Shivoham. Nado naiva me naiva matsarya bhava na dharmo na charto na kamo na moksha chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Na punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtham na veda na yajna Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Anhui Mrityu Shanka Name Jati Bheda Pita Naiva Me Naiva Mata Na Janma Abandhur Na Mitram Guru Naiva शेष्या चिदानन्दरूपा शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् नन्दरूपा शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुर्व्याप्य सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणि सदा मे समत्वं न मुक्तिर्न बन्धा चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूप शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्. We will together chant chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, verses 1 to 10.
अथ नवमोऽध्यायः
श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं तु ते गुह्यतमम् प्रवक्ष्यामनुचेयते ज्ञानं विज्ञानसहितं यज्ञात्वा मोक्षसे शुभात्
राजविद्या राजगुह्यम् पवित्रमिदमुत्तमम् प्रत्यक्षावगमम् धर्म्यम् सुसुखं कर्तुमव्ययम् अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषाः धर्मस्यास्य परन्तप अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्युसंसारवर्त्मनि मया तथमिदं सर्वम् जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं तेष्वस्थिताः न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यम् वायु सर्वत्र गो महान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगतः विपरिवर्तते.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to discuss a poem by the author, a poet. His name is John Gay. The poem is talking about the life of a turkey. A turkey, the bird, was living in a barn, in a warehouse. And the turkey had plenty of seed, grains available to live happily with its own little ones. But the turkey was bored, fed up, tired of the life in that barn, and she left the barn into the forest, in the woods. And as the turkey was moving about with its little ones, the turkey came across plenty of black ants. And the turkey was very happy that it got something more than the routine grain from the warehouse, from the barn. And as the turkey was eating, millions of black ants all over, and the turkey was also encouraging the little chicken to eat. And as the turkey was eating millions of black ants, the turkey was not satisfied. It was worried about the turkey's security. As the turkey was consuming, the turkey was blaming man for killing turkey every Christmas. That is the very basic outline of the poem. The poem reads, as you have received the lines, the poem, The Turkey and the Ant. That's the poem title. A turkey, tired of common food, forsook the barn and sought the wood. The turkey, tired of the food, and left the barn and went into the forest, in the wood. Behind her ran an infant train, collecting here and there a grain. The infant train, the little ones of the turkey, was running behind the mother turkey. And the turkey said, "Draw near, my birds," the mother cries. "This hill delicious fair supplies." Draw near, my birds, the mother cries. The mother shouting out the little ones. This hill delicious fair supplies, referring to the black ants. Behold, the busy Negro race. See millions blacken all the place. By the way, this poem was written before 1732. John Gay, as you see, lived between 1685 to 1732. So he could get away with this expression, behold the busy Negro race. If it was now, he could have been arrested because it is a very racial term, especially in America. The word Negro is a derogatory term towards the Black community, African Americans. But he used it. So behold the busy Negro race, see millions blacken all the place. Millions of black hands is actually blackening all the place. Fear not, like me, with freedom eat. An ant is most delightful meat. The turkey was consuming only grains for his entire life. Now the turkey got delicious, delightful meat. Don't get worried. There's nobody to check. You can eat as much as you want to your heart's content. Fear not, like me with freedom eat. An ant is most delightful meat. How blessed, how envied were our life. Could we but escape the poulterer's knife? How blessed and how envied our life would have been if only we could escape the poulterer's knife. And the poet continues, but man cursed man. The turkey is cursing man, but man cursed man. On turkey's praise, and Christmas shortens all our days. The turkey is complaining that when Christmas comes, man kills all the turkeys. And the turkey describes, sometimes with oysters we combine, sometimes assist the savory shine, describing different dishes that they prepare with turkey. Sometimes with oysters we combine, sometimes assist the savory shine. From low percent to the Lord, the turkey smokes on every board. From low percent, from the poor people to the richest, the turkey smokes on every board, every house. The smoke of turkey being cooked, the smoke comes out. Some men for gluttony are cursed. You must really carefully read the lines. Some men for gluttony are cursed. Of the 7 deadly sins, the worst. The turkey is saying some men are very glutton. They are cursed with that glutton. Of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony is supposed to be the worst. In our Hindu Shastras, the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. That is the 6 weakness. Attachment, anger, jealousy, greed, delusion, and envy. So sometimes for gluttony are cursed. Of the 7 deadly sins, the worst. An ant who climbed beyond her reach, a wise ant, got far away from the turkey, who climbed beyond her reach, thus answered from a neighboring beechwood tree, a tree that is far away from the turkey. What did the ant say? Ere you remark another sin, bid thy own conscience look within. Control thy more voracious bill, nor for a breakfast nation's kill. The last 4 lines you got to memorize. It says, the ant got far away from the turkey, shouted out. He said, before you remark somebody else's sin, or you remark another sin, bid thy own conscience look within. Ask your own conscience to look within your own self. And then he says, control thy more voracious bill, control the voracious consumption of ants that you're consuming, nor for a breakfast nation's kill. The turkey, just for one breakfast, kills whole nation of ants. And as the turkey is consuming hundreds of thousands of ants, as it is consuming, what is turkey doing? It is blaming man for killing one turkey in a year. In fact, it's not even one turkey in a year. Turkey is a relatively bigger bird compared to chicken. And I don't know how many people can eat a turkey. If you're a glutton, maybe 2 people can eat. Otherwise, maybe about half a dozen people. So let's say 6 people eat one turkey during Christmas, which means one person kills one turkey once in 6 years. While the turkey is consuming a nation of ants, it is complaining the sin of human being. Now, this simple, innocuous poem highlights one of the worst, most dangerous for spiritual path, weakness for human being. That is finding fault with others. When we are complaining about somebody else's mistake, remember, perhaps we may have the same weakness, faults, several times magnified, and yet we are not able to see that one weakness several times magnified in compared to somebody else's. The truth is that we need the same energy to correct ourselves, to purify ourselves, but we blame everybody else. One of the worst weakness. On the spiritual path, that is the most dangerous impediment on the spiritual path. So it's difficult to locate one's own weakness, because the problem with the mind is it is constantly focusing upon the external world. There are a few points that you got to note. All right. The very obvious message here is of finding fault with the others. Anything else? What else do you read in the poem? What else?
Greed.
Greed, yes. Greed. Greed, yeah. Quite right. See, the nature of the mind is that the turkey had plenty of grains available, but the turkey wanted variety, was sick and tired of it. Similarly, is the nature of our mind. Our mind continuously seeks variety. That is the nature of the mind. It goes on seeking variety. So when you are very comfortable in your place, in your abode, but what happens is, having lived there for 2 months, 3 months, we get bored. We seek variety and we go for holiday where from your house to a hotel next door. Just literally 2 kilometers away, they would go and stay in a hotel for whatever. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm only analyzing the nature of the mind. From wherever that you're staying, go to Sibaya, stay in a hotel for a weekend, come back, take a massage. Perfect. But I'm discussing the nature of the mind is that the mind constantly seek variety. So the turkey got the variety, plenty of ants. Having got the variety, the turkey is not content. What else the turkey wanted? After the turkey got the variety, what does the mind seek? What else does the mind seek?
Angajanji,
Go ahead.
more variety.
Yes, the mind seeks more variety. And where is that variety in the poem? Because you're right, the mind seeks more variety. That's what the greed part of it, I think Mita who said it. So in the poem, what is highlighted here? The turkey had a very comfortable life in the barn and wanted variety, got the variety, the black ants. And as it is consuming those delicious fair supplies, as the turkey says, what else turkey was seeking?
Angajanji,
Yeah.
freedom.
Freedom, yes. Where is freedom highlighted in the poem? Although it is true, I see your point.
When the turkey went away from its barn,
Yes.
that's freedom, isn't it?
Is that thereby? Who's that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, when it left the one, it wanted the freedom. It got freedom, fair enough. It's got freedom, it's got food, and then
Hello.
Hariom,
It was seeking to justify its actions.
seeking to justify its action, right? Yes, it's sort of justifying what we're doing is right, and you know, see, when we criticize others, all right, why do we criticize other people? what is the psychology behind finding fault with others? Why do we find fault with others? What is the fundamental mindset or the psychology? The truth is that when we criticize others, when we find fault with the others, it is not so much to offend the other people. Then what is it?
It is to justify your own actions.
Self-preservation, indeed. Justify our own action. You know, it is self-preservation. It is not so much to offend the other people as much as it is to defend oneself. So criticism, finding fault with the others, is not an offensive mechanism, but it is a defensive device, self-preservation. In a way, you are rationalizing your own action. In other words, when I see you, let us say, my shirt is dirty. I'm too lazy to clean my shirt. Because I'm lazy to clean my shirt, what am I doing? I throw more dirt into your shirt and make your shirt dirtier. So by contrast, my shirt appears cleaner in contrast to yours. That is the nature of the mind when we criticize or when we find fault with the others. Rationalizing, justifying one's own action, quite right. So 3 points, there may be many, you can read through it. Number 1, the nature of the mind is to constantly find fault with the others. So whenever we find fault with the other people, perhaps we have the same fault several times magnified. So the poem concludes by saying, ere you remark another's sin, bid thy own conscience look within. Before you point out somebody else's fault, ask your own conscience to look within. Control thy more voracious bill, nor for a breakfast nation's kill. For one breakfast, the turkey is killing a nation of ants, and it's complaining the man for consuming one turkey in once in 6 years. So the nature of the mind is that it wants material pleasures. It constantly works for material pleasures. And once the mind got enough of the material pleasures, the next thing that the mind seeks is security. That is what the turkey was doing. It got the variety, it got the excess fair supplies, and then thinking about as the Christmas closes, every house, turkey smokes on every board, from low peasant to the lord, from the richest to the poorest, everybody eats turkey. If only, now that is the nature of the mind, that is the variety. See, the poem, you got to read the line there. It says, if only we could escape the poulterer's knife. How blessed, how envied were our life. How great, how fantastic our life would have been if we could escape the poulterer's knife. That is the nature of the mind here. If we could escape the poulterer's knife. So the variety seeking nature of the mind is that it constantly seeks if only. That is what Mitaji mentioned. Gitaji, okay. That. What is greed? How do we recognize greed in us? The symptom of greed is the if only syndrome. If only we get what we want. So that is the nature of the mind. So long as we are extrovert, finding fault with the other people, it's very difficult to go inward. Because what is spiritual path? Spiritual path is a journey within. There's another message. Hope for safety from Christmas dinner. Quite right. Safety, security. Quite right. So, in fact, when I started my spiritual journey, putting the clock back about 32 years, when I joined the ashram, our very first lesson was this. Very first lesson was Turkey and the ant, because that's the foundation, because a journey within. So long as we keep blaming the other people, we can never ever purify ourselves. So are we criticizing, condemning, finding fault with the other people? Always, invariably.
Angajanji,
Yes, please.
sorry, which did you eat, the ant or the turkey? Sorry, I have a question relating to a variety, Angajanji. Would it be fair to say that, seeking variety is actually a negative thing?
Provided our mind is under control, our desires under control. See, what happens is, the problem is in the belief that I am unhappy because, okay, let's take the example. We generally, most of us here that are joined here in this group, I would say well-placed, comfortable, relatively speaking, relatively comfortable. I mean, what is comfortable, it's there's no limit, but it's all, I'm talking about very subjectively for most people. Now, when everything is going smooth, well and nice, suddenly we think, okay, if only I get that. And we firmly believe that once we get that, we'll be happy. That aspect is negative, detrimental, because if you believe that getting variety will make us happy, you'll never be happy, because as soon as we get that, something else come up. So in that sense, seeking variety is not wrong, provided we understand that we enjoy that specific pleasure, but that's not the end of it. With an understanding that even this will pass away. Quite right. Roshni says, our desires multiply. Quite right. Our desires keeps expanding one after the other. So since our desires keeps multiplying with one after the other, it is not negative. Because what is spiritual journey? Reduction of desires. So therefore, enjoying the worldly pleasures or the variety objectively, if you have that objectivity, perfect. Otherwise, there is a danger lurking that our desires multiply and we get caught up, we get carried away. Because, see, until just as the Turkey firmly believed that if only we had variety and left the security, the comfort of the barn and sought the wood. And when it got the variety, what happened? The mind is upon security. That aspect is dangerous. Dangerous in the sense it will not make us happy. Is that okay? Thereby.
Yes, Angajanji, thank you.
Any other questions? There's a question here. If we don't have any questions there. Neeraj?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
You're speaking about finding fault with others,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in a situation in suppose in a workplace,
Okay.
and you find and you see like a person is not performing his duty, and
Okay.
you know it,
Okay.
but the superior person doesn't really see it, or
Okay.
he's like, yeah, he doesn't acknowledge what I can actually see. Now, how do we try to approach him on a professional level?
Very good point. I'm glad you brought that up. What Neeraj, was it Neeraj asking the question?
Dad.
Oh, Neeraj, dad. Okay, Rajan Bhai. All right. Now, you've got to understand the distinction between correcting somebody objectively vis-a-vis criticizing the other person with an intention of making the other person feel inferior. A boss either pulling up or a subordinate, or guiding the subordinate, or correcting him and put him on the right channel, or it could be a father guiding the child and put the child in the right direction. That should not be construed as criticism. All right. So in this case, where a boss trying to guide the colleague or subordinate, or a father trying to guide the child, or a guru trying to guide the disciple, that is a rational activity. Whereas criticism is an emotional activity. You criticize to find a sort of self-preservation, a self-satisfaction. Selvin Pillai says, is it not about contentment? The mind is never at peace. Yes. When there is no, or the converse would be that not being contented. When the mind is not contented, it seeks variety. Yeah. When the mind is contented, it might enjoy the variety, but understands that there is a limit. That's not the end of happiness. All right. So therefore, you've got to understand the distinction between criticism and guiding or correcting somebody. For example, when a coach, for a sportsman, there is a coach. For a businessman, there is a consultant or a counselor. All right. For a disciple, there is a guru. For a student, there is a teacher. So all those roles involve identifying defect, identifying fault, with an intention of helping the other person grow. The intention is to help the other person grow. Whereas in finding fault with the other people, the intention is not so much to help the other person grow, it's more to make the other person miserable, to make the other person inferior. By doing so, the criticizer feel a sense of superiority. So there is a rational activity, there is a negative emotional activity. That makes a world of difference. Okay. Is that all right?
Yes, thank you.
The question here is that we discussed last class. All right, is there a question, Mikshan? The question is, Hariomang Angajan ji, thank you for tonight's lecture on intellect and emotion. That is the last class. My question that could hopefully be answered in one of your lecture is, what is the role of emotion and when should we take lead? What is the role of emotion? All right. The role of emotion is to emote. Just as the role of reason is to think. So there are two faculties, reason and emotion. Reason works through the head, emotions work through the heart. So what is the role of emotion? Very simple, is to use it effectively. You find in the world, generally there are two types of people. One set of people are extremely emotional, meaning their lives are fully governed by emotion. Another set of people have no emotions at all, very dry. Very rarely you find a person who uses his emotion intelligently, constructively, for his specific purpose, whatever that he wants to use. So that ability to use the emotion intelligently is called emotional intelligence. Being emotional is detrimental, it is dangerous. But whenever we use emotion, it has to be governed by reason. So being emotional is not good. Being emotional, what I mean is that life being guided by emotion. When you act on emotion, and yet most people simply act on emotions only. That's why they get into difficulty. As I mentioned the other day, some of the major decisions, choosing a career, choosing to get married and whom to get married, buying a house, having a family, a child, most of these life-changing decisions people make based on emotions, not based on rationality. But those decisions must be governed by reason. For example, here's a mother who's got a small child. In the morning, if the child is suffering from, let's say, cold, pneumonia, throat infection, and just before the mother is going to work, the child goes to the mother and say, "Mommy, I want ice cream." The child loves ice cream. And the concerned mother tried to make the child understand, pacify the child and say, "Baby, I can't give you ice cream. You know, you have a throat problem, infection. I can't give you." And then what does the child do invariably? When the mother tried to pacify the child, What does the child do?
Throw a tantrum.
Throw a tantrum. The child cries. All right? And if the child threw a tantrum, what would you do? Gita?
You give in to them.
Give in to them. That is acting on emotion. Remember, the children are very clever. They know exactly how to play with your emotions. The child throw a tantrum, and what you do, invariably, you give in to because you're getting late. You don't want to get caught in the traffic. So you give the child. But then you got to talk the language of emotion to the child, because child is talking the language of emotion. So you try to talk to the child using a specific emotion that is called affection. Maybe, you know what? Wait for 2 days. Once you cure, I'll give you loads of ice cream. I'll give you pizza. I'll give you Coke. I'll give you everything. You try to tempt, and the child said, no, mommy, I want it now. And then you talk the language of emotion. Listen, I told you, keep quiet, right? Okay, mommy. That is using emotion. You display a specific reaction in that specific situation. That is called using anger, not losing your temper. You display an expression of anger. Some people need a specific reaction, and some people may need more than that. Some people may need a high five on their face, not all the time, once in a while. So therefore, using emotion, you ought not to lose your temper, you use your emotion. Similarly, you can use fear. Now the child, you operated with your emotion, you spoke the language of emotion to the child. The child, keep quiet. Okay, mommy. You go to work. Now, the grandfather is at home, the old man. Usually, grandparents have got weakness for grandchildren. They're all the time running behind the grandchildren. Because, it is a free affection. When they had the children, that's what happened to most people. When they have a child, they don't really enjoy growing up the children. Grandparents enjoy grandchildren more than the parents do, because they don't have any obligation. They're very detached. All right. So grandfather is at home, and this little devil, so clever, slowly gets around the grandfather and say, Dada or Tata, I want ice cream. And the Tata says, I can't give you ice cream. In the evening when the mother comes, both of us will be in hot water. I can't give you ice cream. And what does the child do? The child uses emotion. Child starts crying. Child starts crying and crying and crying. And the old man cannot see the child crying. He goes to the fridge, take out ice cream and say, only eat a little bit, okay? Don't eat the whole thing. And child eats the whole thing. The child is happy, grandfather is happy. In the evening, mother comes home. Everything looked normal. As the night falls, the child's cough aggravated. The child is coughing, can't sleep, nasal congestion, all kinds of problems. The child couldn't sleep, the father couldn't sleep, the mother couldn't sleep. The old man in the neighboring room, fast asleep, snoring away. This is what happens when you act on emotion. That is called being emotional. So in life, emotions are meant to be used. That is why I say we got to learn to do two things, to think and to emote. Two most important activities or functions that every single one of us are engaged every day is to think and to emote. That is the purpose of emotions. Emotions are to be used, whatever it is. In any relationship, there are different emotions. Different professions require different emotions. If you're a nurse, you need a specific emotion. If you're a lawyer, you need another emotion. If you are a carpenter or an electronic engineer, depending upon the profession, there is a specific emotion that is used. You got to learn it. So that is the purpose of emotion. We will now enter into the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Raja Vidya Raja Gurhya Yoga, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. Raja Vidya, royal knowledge. Raja means kingly, royal. Vidya means knowledge. Raja Guhya. Guhya means secret. Yoga. Every chapter is a yoga. Yoga means union with God. As you know, the Sanskrit word yoga is derived from the root word yuj, means to join, to unite. The English equivalent of the word yoga is religion, which has got very similar meaning. The word religion is derived from its two Latin terms, re and ligare. Re means again, ligare means to join, to unite. So religion means to join again, to unite again. When you say to join again, means something from which we are separated from. The Sanskrit word is yoga, to unite. And what are we separated from? From our own self, from divinity within. So Raja Vidya, the royal knowledge. So why is this chapter called royal knowledge? Because it is the highest knowledge, the knowledge of life and living, the knowledge that helps us to discover our own identity, to know who I am, what is my purpose here in this world, what is my duty in this world. It is the highest knowledge. Relatively speaking, this knowledge teaches us the art and the technique of life and living. It teaches us the technique of how to contact the world. It teaches us the skill as to how to contact yourself. Since it is the most important knowledge, it is called the royal knowledge, the highest knowledge. And it is also the royal secret. Why? Because nobody knows it. The highest knowledge we are unaware of. You know your body, what the body is composed of. You know your mind contains emotions and desires and feelings, etc. You know your intellect, but we do not know the self, the Atman. Since that we are ignorant of our essential self, and we are also ignorant of how to maintain a proper relationship with the world, it is called a secret. Because we do not know how to maintain a proper relationship with the world, we get into all kinds of trouble, all kinds of complications. So we learn it. The yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Secret is something that is not known. It is the pure consciousness. It is the pure knowledge with which we know everything in the world. We don't know the pure knowledge. Just as through a telescope, you can see everything else except itself. Or through a telescope, you cannot see your own eye. Through the telescope, you can see everything else. When you use a torch, flashlight, torchlight, to see everything else outside, but with the light of the torch, you cannot see its own battery. You can use another torch, yes, but with the light of the torch, you cannot see its own battery, because as soon as you take out the battery, the light is gone. Similarly, that enlivening factor, the pure consciousness, is the pure knowledge. Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. The chapter contained 34 verses. And these verses can be divided into 4 topics. The first topic is self pervades the world, verses 1 to 10. The Atman, God, is all pervading. The first 3 verses, it's actually glorifying the knowledge. Then he says everything else is Brahman, and he concludes this topic by saying world is an illusion. And self, the Atman, is a witness. Topic 2, the deluded disregard self, the wise glorify and seek the self. The self means Atma. The Sanskrit word for Atma, the Sanskrit word Atma means self within, the divinity. So the deluded disregard the self, the wise glorify and pursue the supreme self. The third topic, one attain what one strives for, verses 20 to 28. Whatever you strive, you achieve. The law is that as you think, so you become. Whatever you seek, whatever you pursue, you will achieve that. Whatever you sow, you reap. As simple as that. One attain what one strives for. When you are pursuing the material world, we get material benefit. When you pursue the spiritual world, you pursue spiritual benefit. And by the way, you can also get material benefit with that. Topic 4, containing verses 29 to 34, 5 verses. Dedicated efforts lead seekers, even the unrighteous, to self-realization. Committed, dedicated effort, even the unrighteous seekers can reach self-realization. In other words, to pursue spiritual path, you need no prerequisite, no qualification. Everybody, it is the birthright of everybody. But you have to start from where you are. So spiritual path is determined by not what you do, but how you do it. So he's discussing 2 qualifications: a firm resolve, a commitment. When you go to Atma Bodha, some of the other scripture, Shastra by Adi Shankaracharya, before the study starts, he's listing out what are the qualifications that are necessary if you really want to understand it. If you don't have this qualification, don't waste your time. There is another path for you. So this study of Bhagavad Gita, if you really want to benefit from it, there has to be a firm resolve. So when you have the commitment, you will pursue whatever it takes. If you don't have the commitment, you'll pursue whenever you like. you will succumb to every excuses. That's why we are very particular in terms of who want to join. All right, because there are people, you know, oh, maybe 1 week you come, next 3 weeks you don't see them, and then another 2 days they come, and of course there is the assignment. By the way, those of you who did not submit your assignment, your deadline is passed. So I request your commitment to that. All right, chapter 8 I'm talking about, chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita. All right, so you write your assignment. I mean, you invest time. The idea is not to please me. The idea is to stimulate effort in you to go back and read it. Otherwise, what happens is that you'll come and listen, join me on a Tuesday evening from 7 to 8:15. Thereafter, next week only you will look at the Bhagavad Gita. That's not enough. There has to be a commitment to the teacher, whoever is imparting the knowledge, and there has to be a commitment from the recipient as well. Sometimes, you know, I've seen teachers, today I've got a headache, the weather is bad, so please no class today. Or I need to take my dog for a walk, so no class today. No such nonsense. It's a commitment, both from the student and the teacher. Otherwise, you have no place here. It's very clear. So, assignment, all right? Firm resolve, dedicated efforts lead seekers, even the unrighteous, to self-realization. So those are the 4 topics. Those of you have the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Parthasarathi. You can find these topic division. All right. If any one of you who do not have that book, we could try and secure it for you. Let us know. I think most of you have got it. All right. Verse 1.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha idam tu te guhyatamam
Idam tu te guhyatamam pravachyamyanasuyate pravachyamyanasuyave
jnanam vijnana sahitam
jnanam vijnana sahitam
yajñātvā mokṣase shubhat
yajñātvā mokṣyase shubhat. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
idam
tude guhyatamam
pravakshyamyanasuyave
jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñātvā mokṣyase shubhat. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the blessed Lord said. You know, that word, Shri Bhagavanuvacha, very punchy. It's got an impact. Bhagavan, the blessed Lord said. As I mentioned to you before, the entire Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue. It's a discussion. It is a question-answer session between Lord Krishna, the master, the guru, and Arjuna, the disciple, where not like the Upanishads student in the deep recesses of the Himalayan jungles, but this dialogue taken place right in the battlefield, wherein both the Kauravas and the Pandavas were arrayed in the battlefield, ready to charge at each other with an intention to strike and kill the enemy. To such a warrior, Krishna spoke. And who's that warrior? Every single one of us. And who's our challenge? External world. Whatever aspirations that you have, life is full of challenges. If there are no challenges, you're dead. You got to understand that. So that is the message here. Sri Bhagavan Uvaja. To you, idam tute, who does not cavil, verily, I shall declare the greatest secret, says Bhagavan Krishna. The greatest secret. Knowledge together with wisdom, which having known, you shall be free from evil. Very clear. If you want to be free from evil, negativities, pains, suffering, challenges that you go through. I mean, challenges will never end. You'll be able to face the challenges with peace of mind and serenity. Those challenges will never bog you down. If you want to achieve that, here is the wisdom, he says. To you who does not cavil, all right, idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyate. Cavil, one who does not criticize, one who does not condemn, only such a person who does not find fault with the other people, which means he understands there is something wrong with me. Such a person is ready to receive this knowledge. Since you are uncaviling, since you are the one who does not blame the world, who does not find fault with the other people, such a person, you're qualified, I will teach you, Krishna tells Arjuna. Remember, in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was blaming everybody else. And then from the third chapter onwards, he totally surrendered to Krishna and said, Krishna, I understand there is something wrong with me. He took the responsibility of his life upon himself. Therefore, Krishna is saying that I will teach you. Very important words or qualification to understand that to gain this knowledge, you got to look within. Adhikari, this is called Adhikara Nirupanam. That is description of the qualification of a spiritual seeker. One who does not find pleasure in other people's demerit. Such a person who does not find happiness in other people's demerit, that is called anasuya. Asuya and anasuya. Asuya means envy, jealousy, criticism. All these are the meaning for the word anasuya. Asuya. Anasuya means without all those. Such a person has got the qualification. Examine yourself with a pure mind. To you who does not cavil, verily I shall declare the greatest secret. There is no greater knowledge than knowing yourself, knowing divinity. That is the ultimate. Once you know, why it is ultimate? Because you become the knowing principle with which you know everything. I will teach you, says Krishna. It's not just bookish knowledge. He's not giving you just information. He says, I will give you jnanam vijnana sahitam. Sahitam means together. I'll give you knowledge as well as wisdom. Knowledge is jnanam, vijnanam is wisdom. So how is he giving us wisdom? Because Krishna simply doesn't spoon feed us. If you read the language, one need to do a lot of thinking to really echo the message. So there is a built-in reflection, as it were. So along with the study of the Bhagavad Gita, you are forced to reflect, forced to think. So knowledge is information. Information that you receive, you constantly reflect upon it, chew on it, think about it over and over again. the knowledge gets crystallized. The knowledge gets digested. It becomes wisdom. That is called vijnanam. Together with wisdom, which having known, you shall be free from all evil. We don't need to have a complete mastery of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm talking about people who are living in the world, meeting the challenges. I mean, that is our job, philosophers. We took up the responsibility to understand it and impart it to the people who are genuinely interested. Whereas for you to deal with the day-to-day pinpricks, day-to-day challenges of the world, you don't need to master the whole Bhagavad Gita. Whatever little bit that you understand, assimilate it, digest it and practice it, and you'll be free from evil. All right. So cavilling is an impediment. All right. What happens is that, when you're on the spiritual path, you may be doing the right thing. You might say, well, every Tuesday I'm studying the Bhagavad Gita with Angajan ji. You might be doing charity. You might be doing many other spiritual activities. But when you come across other people in the world who do not do this, our ego has a tendency to condemn them, to criticize them. That tendency is the cavilling tendency. Once there was a father and son. He was going for Hajj, Muslim. In Saudi Arabia, they were going from, by walk rather, all right? So it was several days of walk. And in the night, they live in the place where, they provide the accommodation for the pilgrims. So the custom is that early morning, everybody wake up and offer their namaz, their prayer. And this father and son was very sincere. And they got up and they offered their prayers in the morning. And the young boy, his name was Sadi. Sadi told the father, said, Father, look at those people. They claim they are true devotees of Allah, but they're not even waking up and praying, offering namaz. They're wasting their time. And the father told the son, Sadi, you rather not pray than you wake up and offer your prayer and criticize the other people not praying. Because by doing so, all your spiritual merits are getting dissipated. Having undertaken the spiritual path, having done the right thing, when you come across the other people who do not do what you're doing, and you look down upon the other people, criticizing the other people, condemn them, that is an impediment. Therefore, he says, only such people can benefit from this knowledge. By understanding, you shall be free from evil. Talmud, the Jews' scripture says that 4 fellows can't enter heaven. 4 types of people can't enter heaven. Who are they? Scoffer, liars, hypocrites, and slanderers. People who condemn, slander, talk ill about the other people. So this is the ultimate knowledge. It is the greatest knowledge because it gives you the knowledge of yourself. And by doing so, by gaining the knowledge of yourself, what will you get? Free from evil, free from agitation, free from unhappiness. Little by little, we gain the knowledge and wisdom, jnanam and vijnanam. Jnanam is the path, Vijnanam is the goal. When the knowledge is assimilated, it becomes wisdom. Knowledge is objective study. Vijnanam is a subjective experience. Knowledge looks backward to the past, whereas wisdom looks forward to the future. All right. Knowledge gives you sight. Wisdom gives you insight. Knowledge is the ability to see. Wisdom is it gives you that envision. All right. Knowledge is tuition. Wisdom is intuition. You know, some of the most successful people, the happiest people in the world are intuitive. That is what the wisdom gives us. We will continue our discussion next week, Tuesday. We will continue with the meditation.
Angajanji, assignment. Hello, Angajanji.
Sit in a comfortable sitting position to create a meditative mood. Make sure that there is minimum light. Light is dimmed or switched off. Your palms placed on your thighs, or you could interlace your palms, your fingers. Your legs on the floor, your feet on the floor. Relax your body. Relax your forehead. Don't tighten your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your shoulders. Loose. Your legs are relaxed. If there is any tension in any part of your body, release it to facilitate maximum concentration and benefit during meditation. Now, visualize that you are standing on the peak of a hill and watching a vast lake that is absolutely steady. Now visualize cloudless sky. Visualize mountain covered with white snows all over. Visualize an infant in deep sleep. Your mind is relaxed. Now, tune your mind to a subtle sound outside and keep your mind tuned to that specific sound that you choose. Don't allow the mind to slip. Now, shift your mind to your breathing. Feel your breath as you inhale. Feel your lungs and body expand as you breathe in. And feel the warm air as you exhale. Now, join me in chanting the mantra Om. Breathe in. Feel the silence in you and around you. Breathe in. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.